Hello, good afternoon. Hope everyone's well. Thank you for joining us. I'm just going to go through my usual checks at the start of the stream. Just check everything's okay. So we're checking for movement. We're checking for sound as well. Just checking. I haven't got any sound at the moment. I think it's because, let me see. Let me just check. Yeah, what it is, the sound has been turned down on the computer, so that's fine. There we are. Right, I will mute that and we're ready to go. Yeah, anything as well, if there's any issues quality wise, let me know and we'll have a little look through as we go. So what have we got in the vise? We've got a minion. Well, it's a minion when the minions go bad. So we're going to get straight into it as normal, and first thing I'm going to start doing then, our stop cuts. So I'm doing that first stop cut. And if you're learning wood carving, if you're interested in wood carving, hopefully you are, hopefully that's why you're here. Let's just go through sort of the processes. So what I'm judging now, we're judging the best gouge for the job. So I'm looking for a suitable gouge for the sweep of the particular angles. So yeah, we're just looking for what would fit the particular shape and sweep and size of the carving. So having tried a few, and I think this is something worth emphasizing then, if you're learning wood carving, you're not going to get you're not going to get it right every single time you pick up the gouge. So with that one, as you can see, just to do that circle there, I actually tried 3 different ones. This was the one I tried first, and I decided no, it was too small. And then I tried the 2 others that were slightly bigger, and then realized that no, this is actually the best one for the job. So it's just a good way of highlighting how the different gouges, how you sort of select your different gouges and try and get it right in terms of the best one to use. So we're just going to go on now and do the inside circle. So I'm going to mark it out with a smaller gouge for that inside. So just marking out the inner circle, just like so. And yeah, we're just building up a series of stop cuts. The wood we're working in is a bit of juniper, and juniper, nice wood for using, carves nicely, fairly soft, one of the softer ones that we work in. Now that's an interesting one. I'm marking that out, and we try it the one way and then we're going to try it the other way. There we are. So we're just marking out the different stop cuts. Hello there. You've joined us. We just started a live stream we have, so yeah, if he'll be back in with you there now. He will. Okie doke. He's just gone on the sword out the back there. So we're just marking out the stop cuts, the different bits of detail in the design itself. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to break away 2 seconds to go and get him for. No, that's fine. I'm just going to check that. Yeah, keep it short tonight. There we are. All right. There we are. Sorry about that. Right, we're back on screen. So as you can see, we're still working on that eye area there, and we're just doing the band. Yeah, it's hanging up. It is, dude. So I think it's like almost like goggles that the minion has got on, and so we're just marking out that goggle sort of shape, and we'll be using those. Then we'll drop all of this hair back down so we get some shape and some detail onto the hair itself, and it's just giving depth to the carving as we're going through the process. So one thing we have been also noting then is with the shop now, similar last week where we had a grouping we're starting to get a little bit busier, which is a good thing. And then we're just, as you can see, we're going to shape this so it goes in just behind. This will be pushed back. So it's deciding, a lot of the carving that we do is deciding which parts of the carving we're going to push back and which parts of the carving we're actually going to bring out. So that's the sort of depth that we're working on getting. Is to give it extra sort of character to the carving itself. So you can see we're just dropping that hair back down all the time as well. Again, if you're learning carving, we're working with the grain, so you're cutting in the direction of the grain itself.
See the lid?
So just to give, yeah, here we are. Just
is that going to be cut out?
No, that'll be carved in. That will, yeah.
Okay.
So we're just looking at a design that we designed last week. Just, again, it gives you an insight into how the workshop works. So we basically design all sorts of different spoons for different occasions, that sort of thing, and then we look at how we can actually turn those into different love spoons. So we're just shaping this, giving it a little bit of depth. We're also then going to go back and work on the eye itself. So a little bit more depth to this part of the design. A lot of it, see, when it comes to wood carving, what we're trying to do is to create a three-dimensional image, but we're working in 2 dimensions. So that's basically how it works out. There we are. So we're dropping that down. And there's just a little bit of work then. So this will be dropped down a little bit as well, this part of the eye, because that's the eyelid. But the eye itself will be pushed back as far as we sort of need to go in terms of the depth and the detail. There we are. So I'm going to just go back. What it is, that stop cut just needs a bit more work on it. So we're going to cut that down, just like so. And we're also going to do the pupil of the eye. Yeah, there's just a little bit of wood here. Just trying to clean up those stop cuts, basically. Also shows you as well, because you can see for the initial stop cut that I marked, I ended up reversing that. So we changed the direction of it. And it's... so it's... There we are, just like so. And the pupil will come in like that. There we are. So that gives us a lot of the shape that we want on the eye. But I'm also going to push that eyelid down into the goggles. There we are. Always think that the eye is always an important part of the carving. So we're always trying to spend a little bit of extra time working on the eye, get that. I generally quite often with carvings, if I'm sort of focusing on one bit initially, we do that detail. Yeah, hello to the carver. It is indeed. We got a minion. That's today. It's a minion that's gone bad. So it's an evil minion, but it's something different, bit of fun, something that that you can add then. We're always looking to do fun carvings and share different ideas that hopefully will give you a little bit of inspiration then for what you might want to have a go at carving. One of the things with this then, of course, then you couldn't do this sort of commercially because you've got the issues of copyright. So whilst I've done the sort of artwork and adapted an original design that we've seen, we couldn't do this because it is a minion, and of course that's subject to copyright. So for any of you who are learning carving and thinking that is something you may want to do and sell, unfortunately you can't actually do it. Had some interesting inquiries as well, some interesting questions that have come up on the YouTube channel, and that is the we've had a few inquiries scroll sawing. Question actually came in today. Somebody asking us about recommendations with scroll saws. I'm afraid I'm a bit one-dimensional when people ask me for sort of scroll saw recommendations, because I'm always Hegner, and if you don't get a Hegner, just get a Hegner. So probably not the best person in that way. And for anybody wondering, no, I don't have any association with Hegner. It's basically that when it comes to scroll saws, I just think that Hegner have got the design sussed. I know there's a number of popular, more modern designs, but I can see more things that can go wrong. The Carver, I know you started with your Hegner. I've been fascinated seeing some of the different things that you've been doing, and yeah, it's great. And to see you can see as the skills are developing and as you're progressing then with the Hegner, yeah, coming on great. And those Niqua blades, which I'm a big fan of as well. It's basically that we experimented years ago with different scroll saws and things like that, but we found that the Hegner and the Niqua blades, we find that they were really good, and we just continued using them. Never seen any need to change anything. Another question as well we get asked about is with the multi-speeds. That's another one that people sometimes ask about is, do we have the, not multi-speed, variable speed, I think they call it. But again, I've never seen the need for using that. I'm sure it does come in useful for some of the work that other people do, but ourselves, no, we stick to that normal, our regular multi-cut 2S and the Niqua blades. There we are. I think we might have just had an inquiry as well. I'm setting down with my sketchbook today to focus on designs. Brilliant. That's the way to do it. Yeah, designing is something, it is such an important thing, and it is something that you need to sort of dedicate then a set amount of time to. There we are. Is that a group wanting to come in there? All right. Oh, no problem. So an individual wanting to come in. One of our regular visitors to the workshop, that is, somebody who's supported us a lot over the years. So yeah, it'd be nice to, we haven't seen a particular person since the start of all these restrictions. So as you can see, we're developing those little bits. You may notice as well, because as I said, a lot of the sort of demonstration we do, it is geared to anybody who's interested in getting started and interested in learning wood carving. So why have we kept this little bit around the outside? Basically, it's because we've got this here would be delicate if we were squeezing that in the vise. And these little bits here, they would be vulnerable to breaking. So when we scroll saw this initially, what I've done is to keep the surround, so the two bits of wood that I cut, the main bulk of the surround, we've kept that, and that then allows us to support the carving in the vise without putting the wood under a lot of pressure. So we would be putting pressure here, would be vulnerable to breaking. That little bit there, so we're protecting that piece there, and then these little delicate parts of the carving, they would all be vulnerable to breaking. I always think that fun carvings like this, they are a great way to learn wood carving, because if you're having fun, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to progress more quickly, than if you're doing sometimes more traditional carvings, more standard carvings. Yeah, so hopefully introducing you to sort of ideas like this. Hopefully it may give you some ideas for having fun while you learn. So now we got some detail here. We're always working out as well what bits go behind where and what bits sort of come out. So I'm working out the head will be in front of the hair and the body, so those things got to be pushed behind. So we're just working out which parts to push more back in the carving, which bits to bring out. You'll hear in the background possibly as well a little bit. That's Dad on the, he's on the circular saw, I think, out there. So he's doing some processing of wood. So that'll be for making different things. We're busy at the moment in the workshop with bespoke spoons. And we are, as you may have noticed over the last week or two, with the 2 live streams that we've done, we are starting now to get a few more visitors. So apologies for any sort of breaks where we have to go and deal with things during the live stream, but that's what's happening here at the workshop more, which is good. It's good to start seeing people again. It's good to start being able to share the tradition, share the stories, that sort of thing. Right, so where are we up to so far? I haven't done anything on the teeth. We're bringing that body down into the carving. So of course the body should be behind, I think it should anyway, the body should be behind the head. I think with cartoons and things like that, they're nice carving because there's a lot of character to them. But we're just bringing that down. Let's have a little look. These are almost like, I don't know, hoofs. Hoof for arms. I don't know what you would sort of call them. But they again have to be pushed down into the carving. Again, bits of detail to the carving. We've got to go slowly, we've got to go carefully on those because they're cross grain. So whenever you're working cross grain, you've always got to sort of steady it up, take it slowly. There we are. Yeah, as always, it's great that you join us. We really appreciate that. Interesting to know as well, what are you working on? Let us know what carving, what projects you're working on. I know I've been interested this week. It's been great seeing the different work that the carver's been doing. Just joined everybody on a forum, a group, sorry, that I like, and that's Free Scroll Saw Patterns on Facebook. I think that's a really nice group. Always think this a positive group and supportive of the scroll sawers. So yeah, if you're a scroll sawer and you're making stuff, check that particular group out because they do some lovely work, but also they do encourage one another and give good feedback on the work that others are doing. Right, now I'm going to have to use a sort of squared off gouge for this one. So we're going to have those straight edges for the teeth. Always a useful guide, and I know the carver does the same thing. I always ask my my boys if they recognise the carving, ask them what's that look like, and if they can recognise it, then it's usually a good indicator that things are going in the right direction. I know the carver always says that you do a similar thing with your children. If children can recognise what you're carving, then you're on the right track because they'll give you an honest answer. There's no egos involved when you're asking the children. They'll tell you straight. Let's have a little look. So we're just now going to start getting the head. We're going to start the face, sorry. We're going to push behind the goggles. And that's a lot of the carving. So you're just deciding which bits you're going to push back. which bits you're going to bring out. Yeah, let us know as well, anybody. If you're working on something at the moment, if you're working on different projects, let us know what projects you're working on. I'm going to go through some of the ones that we're working on ourselves. We're working on bespoke spoons at the moment. We've also in the last week been filming a new video for the scroll sawing. That one there, I managed to get hold of some glass domes on eBay. Managed to win a bid on eBay, and I've been making some different items using the glass domes, so that's something different. And believe it or not, one of the next sort of projects that I will be working on is some Christmas videos. I know, it seems a long way off, but we've got to get them published sort of October time for everyone if they want to have a go. If you want to have a go at making some of our Christmas ideas, so you can have a go. So you can just see we're just trying to get that all back together in the right place so it fits in correctly. There we are. Right, yeah, that's it. So we're just going to go quite delicately on these little bits of the hair here, because these parts are quite delicate. You may pick up some background noise there again as well. That's Thomas the Woodcarver. Look, by the sound of it, I think he's making a box there. So that's for a few spoons now that are due to go out in the next few days. So that's yeah, some of the things that are going on. It's good to be doing different things, but we're still not as busy as we would normally be at this time of year. But we are thankfully starting to get a little bit busier. So you can just see we're just trying to bring that hair just behind the goggles.
Emphasise the fact that we're not as busy here.
Yeah, it's live.
Yeah,
we're
emphasise
live, yeah.
it for the tax man, alright?
There we are. Thomas the Woodcarver is saying there. There we are. So you can see we're just starting to get that detail. I just need to go over the stop cuts. Just like so. Yeah, brilliant. And then those goggles, they just need to go down a little bit further. Just the same processes that we use for all the different types of carvings that we do. It's those simple stop cuts down into the wood. So getting your basic shape, getting those outline shapes. And then using those stop cuts then as a barrier, cutting down into the line that you created with those stop cuts. This is ever so slightly delicate because you're just working in and around. You're just working in and around where you've marked those teeth. That's it. And we're just going to go around. Part of this now that I'm doing is taking out pencil lines, that sort of thing. Right, so we're going to work on the chin of our minion.
I'm going to interrupt you now, Dave, if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay. You still got your mask on.
Oh, I forgot about the mask, sorry.
Okay, doke.
I'm going to interrupt you then because I think it'd be a good idea to show people, I think we may have shown them before.
Yeah, I think so.
How we pack the things, but, you know, there's no point in spoiling the ship for an 8 with a tar. And, you know, we've got, I get an example of a spoon first.
You might not be able to hear Thomas the Woodcarver very well there because we got a new microphone. You'll have to let us know as well in terms of the volume, whether it's all okay, because it takes me a little while to get used to some of the new kit. But yeah, we got a new microphone and it's set on unidirectional. So
okay, this isn't a set one, is it? This isn't an order for anybody.
No, it's not an order
Okay.
for anyone, no.
So just to give somebody an idea of how this has been packed.
So, if you can't hear very well, so there we are. Yeah, you can see what we do. Yelly, my wife, she gift wraps all of the spoons for going out. So you can see there's your spoon. So she would gift wrap it from there. She would, it would then go across to Dad, and he would, there you go, make a box.
So turn the box around
And
so you
then,
can see the other
so you
side.
can see that's the other side. There we are. So we make a box to support it, secure it.
And it's going to have a lid. It's going to have another one
1, 2, 3 on the top of
section
there.
or a solid section, but that's quite strong.
Yeah, so it's something. Yeah, I think it's something that we've looked at before. Is packaging everything securely to protect your work.
Anybody doing anything, don't take a chance with your packing because
Yeah, it's always disappointing if you spent time working on something and then it gets broken in transport.
You just have to build it into your costs because you make a spoon, £200, goes to the post, and then
Yeah, it gets damaged or something.
start again.
Right, so we're nearly there with our minion carving. I think we need to drop that bit down a little bit. Really speaking, I think this type of minion I should have been using something like a purple heart because of the colour. Because I think this type of minion is purple, isn't it? But there we are. It'll come out a nice sort of pinky colour with this wood. And we're just going over now, I'm looking through the carving and seeing what bits, what areas sort of need work on. So you can see there's a couple of pencil marks still left on the teeth. So we take those pencil marks off. And in and around the goggles, I would like this to, because I'm thinking that strap would sort of wrap around the head. So we want it to, we want the strap to sort of partly fall away as if it's wrapping around. You can tell him he isn't standing right there, but we can hear him. Brilliant. Glad you can hear him. What it is, we changed the microphone. It's a bit of the microphone is more clever than the person trying to do the filming. It's got settings on it for only really picking up sound in one direction, or picking up sound in multi directions, or picking up sound everywhere. It's, as I said, it's a new mic for me, so it's more intelligent than I am. But that's technology for you. And if Thomas the Woodcarver was here, he'd probably say, well, that's not saying too much. So you can see, yeah, we're well on with that carving now. I think this one here, I think it was almost like a braces type effect. So we need to just drop that. We don't want too distinctive a stop cut by here. So we just drop down that a little bit because I don't want too dramatic a stop cut there. And then I've got a little bit of work to do on that piece there. But I think we are well on with our minion carving. Let's have a little look. Just another little bit of fun really, and just to show how, whilst we do a lot of our Lovespoon carvings, a lot of our conventional type carving, everything from birds and flowers and animals and symbols. You don't have to just do that. You can have a bit of fun with what you're doing as well. Here we are. That's just dropping that bit just away, like so. And if we have a little look at this bit here, just to shape it. There we go. We're well on with that. I might do a little bit more work. I'm going to turn it around because I haven't seen it properly myself. Yeah, there's a little bit on the top of the stop cut by the teeth. Little pieces that need to come away, but that's a simple little demonstration for how we can carve a minion. A little bit there, a little bit there, and then this, just a little bit in there. There we are. So that's our first little carving. Right, and now we're going to move on. Here we are, designing, having a bit of fun. We've been playing around. Look, we've got our own design. Here we are, nice little bit of oak, and we got our own cartoon character. You've seen it here first. We've now got our own cartoon. Where's that gripping? That's gripping somewhere. Mighty Oaky. Here we go. Here's our own cartoon character. Right. So I want to check that that is going to hold in the vise. And again, this is going to be, you've seen it here first. So basically, we're using a piece of oak, and we're going to do all of our stop cuts again. And it just shows you how you can develop your own designs, your own ideas. You haven't got to stick to conventional things. You can just play around and develop any idea that you want to. So we're going to start off. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do the hairline. And the idea with this particular design, it had we got all curves because we're thinking of it like of being an oak tree. So that's where we took the inspiration for the shape. I'm going to just see because it's not gripping quite as I want it to in the vise. Let's see. It may be because just the outsides are not quite... Yeah, I think it's because it's gripping at the top. Hopefully you're going to be okay there in the vise. So we're going to start off, as I said, we'll do all of the hairline. Hopefully that's going to be holding the vise okay, otherwise Mighty Oaky will turn into Brokey Oaky. So it's just deciding which bits of the design that we're going to push back and which bits that we're going to bring out. So of course the hairline will be, the face will sort of be behind the hair in this particular example. And I think that's a lot of learning wood carving, and you're judging which bits you're going to... you as a boy. Not quite. So we got on here, you can see, basically, yeah, we're thinking about that shape. We're thinking about which bits of the carving do we need to drop further into the wood, which bits need to be brought out in the wood. But as you're going along, you know, sometimes, like I'm looking, and I mean, I've sort of, when I've designed this, the first thing I'm noticing now as I go to carve it, the eyes, I want the eyes now a bit more sort of symmetrical than they are as I've drawn it, because this eye is a lot wider. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work for me as a design point of view. But the idea, we're sort of highlighting how, hopefully we're highlighting how through the carving, you can sort out some of your issues, you know, where we haven't got the same abilities as a carver, where we haven't got the same abilities as an artist and drawing, we can then, you know, cover up some of our limitations through the wood carving. So where our drawing may not be that great, hopefully the carving will cover up some of those, what should we call them, limitations, that sort of thing. So what we've done, see, we've done the stop cuts for the eyes, just like so. And we carve them down into the woods. Being an oak tree themed cartoon character, and we're carving in oak, of course, And this is where it sort of becomes fun, because we do little ideas like this, different themes. We may end up using this. So we've got a few little ideas for like a cartoon series, and we may end up using it because we have families coming to the workshop. And so to be able then to almost have like our own cartoon hero here at the workshop, it does appeal to us. Because something that's going on a lot at the moment, you know, there's talk of the environment, and well, we've always done our best where we have our tree planting projects and the Bob Ross approach. Oh, I'm not. You'll have to enlighten me. Yeah, so we have our tree planting project, and we use our recycled woods, and you know that's how we've always sort of tried to emphasize the importance of looking after the environment. And now it seems that it's becoming more sort of mainstream for people to do those sorts of things. But as a family workshop, we've tried to have a positive impact on our environment since we started, really. So we've got those eyes I finish off. We've marked out the nose, the stop cut. We're just going to put the pupils. And you may notice that I always, with most of my different carvings, if there are faces and eyes to be done, they always receive quite a bit of attention, quite a bit of focus. I prefer doing them first of all, because I like to get them right and come back to them if I'm not actually happy with what we've done. Again, with the mouth, what we're going to do is to mark out the stop cut, but the stop cut in with the mouth again, it'll act as like a surround. So that's what it'll be. We'll actually be cutting out the inside shape. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, that's the wrong gouge. So yeah, we're going to mark this now across the top, and then once we've got all of that area marked out with our stop cuts, we're then going to cut this out. And what it is like the bottom of the mouth, I've tried to go for sort of rounded shapes, thinking of those rounded shapes, the same as the hairline, the rounded shapes of the oak tree, the canopy, is it, that we can... you know, I'm thinking of all the foliage, the leaves, that shape. There we go. So we just got that surround just like so. And it's a similar sort of thing again, where we've marked it all out. You've got that vertical grain. So we're marking the on the oak with a vertical grain, so it makes it easier because you are predominantly working in the same direction throughout your carving. And then the face, we just sort of push it back behind the hairline, like so. That's it. And then afterwards, we'll give our mighty oakie, we'll give him curly hair. So we give him curls. So we give it like a textured finish for the hair. So I know that the carver, you're working on some designs for yourself. We haven't heard from anybody else so far in terms of what else anybody else is working on. We've had a few different requests. Last week we were asked for some Lovespoons with nautical themes, so anchors and ships, that sort of thing on them. We had inquiries for a few different sort of bespoke spoons with sort of a variety of different designs. There we are. So with a carving like this, a lot of the detail then, a lot of it is going to be on the face itself, building up that character. You may have noticed as well, I don't know if we've done it for last week's live stream, but it's certainly done for this week's live stream. We've relined this vise. So over time, you get bits of wear and tear on the vise, and that lining needs to be replaced again. It's moving a little bit because it's gripping in the vise at the top, and so the actual carving is actually free inside. So if I pick that carving up, there you go. So it's this piece of wood at the top that's trapping, but the carving itself is actually free. But it's not moving around too much, so I can still carve it without any problem. So yeah, wood carving, you can even start developing your own cartoon character. We got ideas for a whole series of cartoon characters, who knows? In years to come, it may become a thing that we use more and more. It was inspired, and it's a lot of what we're doing at the moment, is inspired then by the whole sort of environmental issue, the talk about the environment. And so we had a whole idea for different characters. I'm still wondering as well, who's Bob Ross? You know Bob Ross?
Bob Ross?
Yeah. The carver referred to the Bob Ross approach, and I'm still wondering who Bob
Ross approach?
Yeah. I'm still waiting to be enlightened on that one.
Never heard it.
There we are. Thomas the Woodcarver hasn't heard of it either. You'll have to enlighten us on that one. That's a new one for ourselves. So you can see what I've done, because I'm dropping the face behind the hair, I'm now having to drop the eyes further down. But it's a good one for you to see how basically you increase the depth of the whole carving if you need to. So because we need to, it's working out as you're going along, you're working out thinking, right, we need to increase the depth on that part of the carving, so then another part of the carving might need to also change the depth. So that's what we've done. We've adjusted the depths of the eyes to cater for the fact that we've adjusted the depth for the face. That's why we do those stop cuts on the eyes first of all, is if they do need adjusting, then we can do it. And what it gives you guidelines to follow. There's a little method that we use that, again, might be useful. If you think something's going to need dropping back, here we are. An American painter with a big red afro, he was masterful with paintings and never made a mistake. They were happy accidents, so his paintings would evolve when need be, just like carvings. Ah, indeed, that does sound right. That sounds spot on. Many a carving has evolved in different ways. You adapt and you evolve as you need to. This one here was sort of designed, as you could see from the drawing, very quickly, and I just thought it was a bit of fun, and I liked the idea, and I thought, right, I've got a little idea for a whole series of cartoon characters. something different and original, but they actually have a little story and a message behind them. So we're always thinking of different things to do. We've done all sorts over the years, see. I thought it could be useful for schools, different groups and things like that, where they could teach children about the environment through cartoon characters like Mighty Oki, and be on their level, be entertaining for them, but also give them a better understanding of the sort of more of the truth when it comes to what's going on with the environment, and as opposed to a lot of what's currently being said. Right, so let's have a little look. I think we need to go a little bit deeper with some of these stop cuts. Just need to, because we're dropping the face down, it's the other parts of the carving, and also need to be pushed further into the wood just to compensate for it. All the time you'll see that I'm judging my stop cut and deciding, you know, if I've got the right size and shape and sweep of gouge. So another question that we get asked quite often, you know, what are our favourite gouges to work with? What are the best gouges and things like this? Basically, you can do your carving with all sorts of different gouges. The best gouges are the ones that you've got available to you. And it's just there are certain ones that suit certain cuts and certain things that you do more. But it very much depends on the situation. And we get also as well, we get used to working with certain ones. They become what we describe as go-to gouges. So for instance, if we're doing a carving and we're sort of in between two shapes and sizes, you'll choose a go-to gouge to get you out of trouble. So we're going to go on to his boots. Not a lot of sort of detail on the boots, but they got to be big, strong boots because he's a big, strong oak. And then his trousers or shorts. I'll have to put it across to you all. There we are. Any ideas for other names for our series of cartoon characters? It's going to be the Lovespoon Workshop, Di Lovespoon Thomas's cartoon carvings. Because we have got a few other carvings that we've got names at the moment. Any thoughts for any names for different cartoon characters? Our theme is the environment, and we're adding to it all the time. We're adding different characters to it. The first one is Mighty Oki. I might reveal by the end of this some of the other names. But let us know. Have a little think. Have you got any thoughts on cartoon characters that might be nice for our... I'll have to do a video with them all in the end. Do a cartoon video. But as I said, end of the video, we'll have to reveal some of the ideas we've got. But if you've got ones to contribute, they may make it into our little cartoon. That's the nice thing with what we do, see, and with the different things at the workshop, is it does allow you, it gives you that sort of opportunity to create things, carve things, but also, you know, tie in messages, tie in stories, have a bit of fun, and generally then don't really take things too seriously. So you can see we're just working on the body now. And he's got his boxing gloves on. So he's an oak tree not to be messed with. But he's a friendly tree too. There we go. Now this one as well, for instance, this, you could actually sell this. So this one we could sell. The reason we could sell is because we did the design. So because it's your design, and that's what you've got to remember then with things like copyright, intellectual properties. We got mini maple. There we are. We'll have to get hold of some maple. Millie Maple. Joining Mighty Oakie on its adventures. Sounds like a plan. You'll have to add that to your design. Well, some of the ones that came to we had one that was I had my villain ready to go. Robbie Rules. That was going to be one of my villains. Robbie Rules. And he was going to be in the shape and style of a ruler. So that was one of my designs. So we got Mighty Oakie, and there was the. We were also thinking, because of our logo, the dragon leaf gang. And there was another one, and I can't remember what it was. Robbie Rules. I had two villains. I can remember Robbie Rules. Why can't I remember the other one? No, it's gone. So you're thinking the carver there, thinking along the same lines, eh? So again, we're just getting the depth on our carving. This all needs pushing back. The neck as well needs a bit of work on it. Doing stuff like this though as well, it's nice because it's a bit of a break from what we sort of do as a day job. You're still working on your carvings, you're still working on the different carving skills, but it's a bit of fun, not too serious. And then afterwards you've got different things then for when people come in the workshop. We get all sorts of different carvings then that we got on display for them to see. So quite often it's just original and different ideas that people haven't seen, or things that they've never seen in wood before, that sort of thing. Now I got a little bit of pen. I wouldn't normally have drawn it out in pen. We'd normally draw it all out in pencil, of course, is better, but I couldn't find a pencil when I drew it out, so it went in pen. Now, one of the bespoke spoons that we're going to be working on in the next week or so, we're going to be making it in a piece of teak, a wood that we've discussed at different times, a lovely timber for carving, and yeah, one that we enjoy using, but one that's not widely regarded as good for wood carving. But we actually find that it carves really nicely. So we're just going to do the separation for the teeth. He's got a fine set of teeth on him as Mighty Oakie. Just like so. Let's push that hand down. Just like so. There we are. So we've got this chest as well. We're just going to put a little bit of separation into the carving. And the arms and the body as well. A little bit of separation. So again, the boots, we just round them off. So we've done our stock cut, and then we're going to round them all off. Just like so. I'm going to check now. Making the tape measure, yeah, spot on. Robbie Rules, yeah. You'd be a tape measure. The idea was to be telling everybody what you can and can't do. Ah, that was it. It was going to be corporation something. The corp. That's what it was. That's my other character. I remembered it now. You've reminded me of it with the measuring tape. It was going to be corporate ladder. That was the other character we were going to do. Corporate ladder. And the idea, see, is to... It was based on the theme, a whole idea of trying to cut down the forest, see? And here comes Robbie Rules and Corporate Ladder. There you go. It's the Lovespoon Workshop cartoon. All part of the process, see, of thinking of different ideas, because we have, you know, it's not just adults then that we have to the workshop. We have a lot of children and things like that. And where we're always sort of thinking with the children is, they quite often, when it comes to working with woods and things like that, quite often they're not given the opportunity to do it. So if they're not given the opportunity to do it, it sort of restricts them in terms of developing an understanding and an appreciation of the natural world and the environment that they live in. So if they don't have those opportunities to learn, it's difficult then, you know, for them to appreciate the natural world if it's something that they never get a chance to experience. Now let's have a look. We're probably going to have to go there and there. I'm just working out where to put our... now if I go there, this is a situation where if I go the one way, I may decide that that's not where I should have gone. Yeah, we can cope with that. That's okay. It's just deciding. At one set I was thinking, do we need two, or do we need an extra set of teeth in there? But it would mean that you would have one set of teeth right in the middle as opposed to the two front teeth. There we go. So we got that one there, and we're nearly a little bit of work on the body, and that will do our carving. Yeah, corporate ladder. That was the other one that I couldn't remember, because there's a lot, as I said, being said about the environment, and we hear a lot of it anyway. I suppose it's something that we're interested in. Right, so let's have a little look. I think, yeah, we're nearly there for that one. We've got a few. We give him some stomach muscles, because he is a mighty oakie. Just like so. And then we've got to do some work back in the other direction. And it's just another way you can have some fun with wood carving, develop your skills, get creative, and you never know where any of it might take you. Now in a few years' time, if you start seeing cartoons with characters like these, you know where you saw it first. See? Stranger things have happened. So again, where we've cut down that little bit of depth, we just go back over the stop cut, giving it a bit more depth. But we've got those guidelines because we've already marked our stop cut. We've got all of those guidelines. Pushing it down into the wood. Yeah, and the idea with the design then, see, as I said, you've got the sort of all the leaves at the top as the hair and the face, and then the arms are sort of mighty branches, and then our strong boots for the roots. But it just gives you an insight into how carving for us is a bit of fun, something we do, something we enjoy, and something that you can really get creative with. One thing then we will also be moving on to, and might well start to become a feature of our live streams, is our spoon for the year. So that is something that at some stage we're going to have to start concentrating on. And last year that's what we did. We used it as a big part of our live streams to share the entire process, including sort of designing and ideas. As well, for anyone, if you're doing anything currently, if you need any help, remember you're more than welcome. Get in touch. It's always nice to be able to share ideas, to speak with you all. I know with the carver recently, we've been doing a few sort of Skype calls and things like that, and it's great to see the sort of progress and also share some thoughts and ideas. Yeah, all good to be able to do. Let's have a little look. We may need to make an adaptation here. Yeah, that's well on its way. Where's my spike? Let's have a little look. I've lost my spike now. I've got 3 spikes, and if I can ever find them, it's a bit of a miracle, but I can't find them. So we'll have to search them out and do those couple of spike marks there. There we are. I think there's a bit of work in terms of the design. We've got a little bit of work to do on his upper body. The upper body of my oak tree. Not quite as I want it yet, so we'll have to have a little look and change him a bit. And then that will be that carving pretty much done. There we are. Hopefully that's a bit of fun, something different, something original. Anyone get any ideas for cartoon names? It's more than a job, it's a passion. Spot on. Yeah, if you've got any thoughts, any ideas on names to add to our series of cartoon characters, let us know. And you never know, they may end up featuring in an upcoming project. Thank you for joining us. In terms of this week's upload, last week's it was scroll sawing. I'll have a little look through. It might end up being something to do with scroll sawing again, but hopefully it'll be useful to you all. Keep those questions coming in. Keep any inquiries, anything you want to know when it comes to the scroll sawing. It's always great to be able to help out in any sort of small way that we can. Yeah, let us know what you're up to, and I hope you all have a good week. Thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.